Welcome back to The Observable Unknown. Before words, before thought, before the architecture of language could divide self from other, there was imitation. The first grammar of our species was not carved in clay, it was carved in gesture. A gaze mirrored, a movement echoed, a feeling shared. In the early 1990s, at the University of Parma in northern Italy, neuroscientists Giacomo Rizzolatti and Vittorio Gallese recorded from the premotor cortex of macaque monkeys. To their surprise, certain neurons fired not only when the monkey grasped an object, but also when it watched someone else perform the same act. These cells, later known as mirror neurons, blurred the line between seeing and doing, between observation and participation. Rizzolatti and Gallese realized they had uncovered a fundamental principle of social cognition. The brain rehearses what it perceives. To witness is to enact. To perceive another is to partially become them. Follow-up studies through the late 1990s confirmed the mechanism in humans. Christian Kaisers and colleagues at the University of Groningen found that the same regions, the inferior frontal gyrus and inferior parietal lobule, activated both when subjects performed an action and when they heard that action described. Language, it turns out, may be built upon this shared resonance. We understand words because our motor systems remember what they describe. But mirror neurons alone do not explain the emotional textures of empathy. At the Max Planck Institute for Human Cognition and Brain Sciences, Tania Singer mapped how empathy for pain engages the anterior insula and anterior cingulate cortex, regions tied not to sensory input, but to affective resonance. Her landmark 2004 study showed that simply watching a loved one in pain activated the same emotional networks as experiencing pain oneself. Yet Singer later demonstrated in 2013 that this resonance can become self-destructive. In caregivers and humanitarian workers, prolonged exposure to suffering without restorative compassion training led to empathic distress, a collapse of neural coupling often mistaken for burnout. It seems empathy without balance becomes pain without purpose. Marco Iacoboni at UCLA extended these findings, showing that mirror activity is modulated by intention and social identity. In one of his pivotal 2008 experiments, the same gesture, say, lifting a cup, activated different neural circuits depending on whether the observer believed the actor was friendly or threatening. Empathy then is quite selective. We mirror those who belong to our tribe more readily than those whom we fear. It's not an equal choir, it's a moral ensemble shaped by trust, bias, and familiarity. Other studies deepened this paradox. Jean Decety at the University of Chicago demonstrated that psychopathic individuals can exhibit normal mirror activation when instructed to empathize, suggesting that the circuitry is intact but volitionally gated. The mechanism exists, but the moral permission to engage it does not. Empathy, therefore, is not just a reflex, it is a choice of attention. And so the story of neural mirroring becomes the story of human morality. Every act of kindness is a neurological duet, every cruelty a dissonance between systems that forgot to tune. Stephanie Preston at the University of Michigan proposed in 2007 the perception-action model of empathy, arguing that mirror systems evolved not to make us sentimental, but to make us adaptive. The infant copies the caregiver's face. The hunter tracks the prey by feeling its motion. The healer senses another's wound. Empathy was never ornamental. It was survival. But survival now occurs in a digital theater. Our neurons, designed for proximity, now face the vast flatness of the screen. We see faces without scent, hear voices without vibration, and send emotion through glass. Studies from Stanford University 2021 reveal that online interaction reduces synchronized alpha-mu rhythms between participants, a neural sign of embodied disconnection. We call it social media, but perhaps it's better named social mirroring without resonance. We project our emotions into code, yet the feedback loop that would once steady the body, heartbeat aligning to heartbeat, remains open. Our empathy pings into the void, and yet music, ritual, and shared breath remain antidotes. When voices sing together, endorphins rise, oxytocin flows, and mirror systems synchronize across skulls. At Oxford University in 2016, researchers found that choir members not only reported increased social bonding, but showed measurable pain threshold increases, evidence of endogenous opioid release through rhythmic unity. We are wired to get high on connection. To belong is a biochemical event. Perhaps this is the true moral architecture of the brain, not a ledger of commandments, but a symphony of synchrony. Every act of understanding is an act of entrainment, every moment of compassion a resonance across time. The observable unknown is this: empathy is not something we imagine, it is something we become. We do not think each other into being, we fire together into meaning. I'm Dr. Juan Carlos Rey of crowscupboard.com. For reflections, questions, or collaborations, you can reach me at theobservableunknown@gmail.com or text me at 336-675-5836. If today's episode spoke to you, I invite you to leave a rating or written review wherever you've listened to this episode. Each one helps this signal travel farther, finding others who are listening for the same quiet frequency. Every episode is a small transmission through the dark, an attempt to keep empathy luminous in an age of noise. May the next sound you hear remind you that consciousness itself is a shared vibration, and may your own heart, in its steady electric rhythm, feel the answering pulse of every other heart still learning how to listen. Until next time, keep resonating, keep reflecting, and keep the mirror bright